But we're going to begin right now at 4 with some breaking news just into the newsroom. One of the Colorado State troopers shot in the line of duty earlier this week has been released from the hospital. Skylar Hain was seriously hurt when a man opened fire on him during a traffic stop. CSP says he was shot several times before he was able to drive himself to the hospital and walk into the ER. In the last few minutes, CSP says Hain has been released and is recovering now at home. Clark Tanan was also shot, trooper as well. His injuries are minor, we're told, and he was treated and released from the hospital the same day of the shooting. The gunman, Robert Richards Jr., was shot and killed after a brief standoff with law enforcement. Our other top story at 4, the town of Kersey won't issue tickets from photo radar cameras along County Road 49 for a month while it makes some changes. Thanks for joining us at 4. I'm Phil Lipoff. The saga continues there.
And I'm Kim Christian. I was going to say, remember that story?
Oh, I do.
You might remember earlier this year, town leaders voted to void and refund more than $1 million worth of tickets after reporting from Steve on Your Side. Now, consumer investigator Steve Stager shows us the town's replacing those camera trailers with a more permanent camera.
If you weren't looking closely enough, you might have missed it. Permanent poles have replaced 2 photo radar camera trailers along Weld County Road 49 in Kersey. The town made the announcement on its Facebook page this week, announcing that they will follow a state-mandated 30-day warning period, issuing only warnings to drivers caught speeding for the next 30 days. The town shut off comments for the Facebook post after getting some pretty harsh criticism about photo radar in the past. Many drivers call the camera a revenue generator for the small town of 3,000 people. And they've generated a lot of revenue.
We have received revenue in the amount of $1.68 million approximately.
At a meeting earlier this summer, Kersey's town manager told the board Kersey made nearly $1.7 million in photo radar revenue in the 7 months tickets were live in 2025. That's pretty significant. In fact, it would be the largest revenue line item in the town budget, surpassing sales tax revenue, which was estimated to bring in $1.1 million last year. Now, the town doesn't get to keep all of that. They reported paying the vendor who supplies the cameras and sends the tickets $700,000 last year. And they had to give more than $500,000 back to drivers after we reported that the town's $340 speeding tickets violated Kersey's own law. The town pushes back that the cameras are meant for revenue. Kersey's police chief told me by phone today that the cameras have been successful at slowing people down, issuing fewer tickets on average now than when they launched. These 2 new cameras that replace the old ones here on County Road 49, they are both on a 30-day warning period, which means if you drive past them, the camera detects that you were speeding, you will not be issued a citation. That warning period lasts through September 24th at 11:59 p.m. In Kersey, I'm Steve Stager. Steve on Your Side, 9 News.
Steve can drive to Kersey with one eye open. He knows exactly how to get there. We asked Kersey's police chief today if he had any current numbers of revenue for the cameras. He said he didn't. He expects the town to report the 2026 number next year.
We're going to take a live look outside right now where we are tracking some scattered showers across the state. It's kind of looked like that for the better part of, I don't know, several days now.
Well, you found out last night.
Oof.
We thought it didn't look that bad, and then about 6 o'clock.
I was supposed to grill. That was what my wife wanted me to do last night, and then it opened up right when I got home. Weather impact team meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen joins us now. Corey, we didn't wind up grilling. Do I have a better chance tonight after the news?
You got a better chance, even though those showers are coming again at about the same time, but they won't be those big, huge downpours like yesterday. Most likely what we're seeing right now, we're having a few sprinkles come through the Denver metro area right now. Our air is much drier today, and that is a big change. That also helped our temperature get up there. You may have noticed the heat. We hit 91 at Denver International Airport today. Current temperatures are down into the 80s right now. You can see the rain all across Colorado. We have some big storms down here to the Aspen Acres burn scar, so more trouble in Aspen Acres as most of the really heavier rain showers are down on the south I-25 corridor, but we've got a few showers rolling through our area. And then we're going to crank the heat up another notch tomorrow, and of course we're going to be near record temperatures because we have a Broncos game in town tomorrow. Last week we had a record-breaking temperature this time will be close. Look at these temperatures across the eastern half of the state. Pretty toasty for tomorrow. And then we'll keep rain in the forecast each of the next 4 days. Maybe a little bit of a drier stretch coming. I'll talk about that coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
All right, Corey, thank you. Last night's storms ended in water rescues for a few people. This was down south. It happened in Weld County just after 6 o'clock last night. Rattlesnake Fire says they were called out to County Road 194, where they found 2 cars stranded, unable to move. You see there in the water. They helped everyone out safely. Firefighters say there were other cars caught between the flooded sections of the road. They were able to get them out too to safety, which is the good news. Nobody was hurt.
Right now, we're learning about a crash between a car and one of Waymo's self-driving cars. It happened this afternoon in Denver at 8th and Delaware. We reached out to the police and Waymo to learn more about the crash and who's at fault. Right now, Waymo is in its final phase of fully autonomous driving on Denver streets. Colorado has seen more e-bike and scooter crash injuries this year than all of last year. Colorado State Patrol and Children's Hospital shared some advice today to keep kids safe. The number one thing you can do, wear a helmet. You can also know the laws, ride safely, and avoid distractions, phones, headphones, things like that. You can also make a difference between a fun ride and a trip to the ER.
Some children face weeks or months away from school, sports, and other activities they enjoy. And tragically, some are never the same again, requiring chronic medical care. Beyond the physical injuries, these crashes can be incredibly disruptive and sometimes devastating for the entire family. Children may face pain, anxiety, and long recovery periods.
Troopers also want you to know the difference between an e-motorcycle and an e-bike so you can tell which one your kids are riding. If it has 2 wheels, goes faster than 28 miles per hour, doesn't have functional pedals, and exceeds 750 watts, it's an e-motorcycle. In that case, kids have to be at least 16 years old and they need a license to ride a motorcycle.
We have an update for you now on a story we've been following. A grandmother living here in Colorado, despite a court order mandating she return to an assisted living center in Texas, can stay in Fort Collins, at least for now.
This is a story 9 News investigates. First brought you earlier in the week. Peggy Hill has refused for months to go back to Dallas. Investigator Chris Vanderveen joins us now. And Chris, a judge now says Peggy can stay where she wants.
That's true, Kim, in large part because she's set to have a surgery to remove pressure on her brain here in Colorado next month. Peggy Hill is under the care of a court-appointed Texas-based guardianship, and as part of a settlement with her kids, she's supposed to spend half of her time here in Colorado and the other half in Texas. But that settlement has been complicated by the fact that Peggy now refuses to leave her son and daughter-in-law's home in Fort Collins. She has repeatedly said under no circumstances will she leave, and that is a violation of a court order. And earlier this week, that son and daughter-in-law were ordered to appear in a Texas courtroom to tell a judge why they shouldn't be held in contempt. This is video of the family together in Colorado, video we shot before this week. This afternoon, our partners at FAA and TV in Dallas got their hands on this latest orders in the case, which says in part that it would be in the ward's best interest, the ward being Peggy Hill, for the court to authorize the ward to remain in Colorado for the scheduled surgery and post-operative recovery, and that the application should be granted. It also said her son and daughter-in-law's actions do not rise to the level of contempt. There was some concern the judge might put them in jail for not returning Peggy to Texas. This appears to be a short-term fix to a potentially long-term problem. As far as the state of Texas is concerned, Hill is legally incapacitated to make her own decisions. Keep in mind, we did do a half-hour interview with her in which she appeared to well understand the implications of what she was doing. Her sons in Texas have fought to return her to Dallas. This means she can stay here for now, but certainly, Kim and Phil, more to come on this story.
Is this one of those things where they can revisit the situation at all in court, or is this the way it is?
Well, I think they're going to, and I think the hope is that surgery is for something called hydrocephalus, where they're going to remove some pressure in her brain, and that can be causing potentially some of the cognitive issues that she's experiencing. The hope here is, at least in Colorado, is that she will then maybe be restored to that level where she can make decisions for herself and that she can decide for her own to where she can live. But as of right now, the court still says she's got to spend half her time in Texas and Colorado. Today is just simply a short-term reprieve.
Well, we urge people to watch your original story because this really calls into light guardianship and a lot of decisions families make, and there are a lot of family dynamics involved.
Very much so, Kim, as you know.
Thanks, Chris.
You bet.